This is the Pota Performer, and so is this. Let me show you how to build it. Stick around. The Pota Performer is a great antenna, and ever since I built mine, it's become my go-to and probably my favorite antenna. And not only for me, for nearly everybody I talk to loves this thing. It's fairly simple, fairly affordable, multi-band capabilities, and it just flat out performs. With all that being said, it is not ideal for every situation. My build, the way I have it configured, it weighs about 5 pounds. It's a little bulky. I've taken it on an activation where I hiked in 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile, and that was doable, but it was by no means a breeze. So I don't claim to have invented this antenna I'm about to show you, but I've been talking about it in my videos for several months, and I just really haven't heard much from anybody else. And the way I came up with how to build mine was just taking the idea of what if we could take the Pota Performer and basically do the same thing just with wires. So let's take a look at all of this. So here we are. Here's some of your basic components, and before I go through them, I'll put up an infographic of the basic premise of this antenna. So we could either use a tree limb, as you can see here in the picture, or some type of telescoping mast or another way to get the radiating element up in the air. And the height of the branch or the mast, of course, would depend on what band you're using. I've made this from 12 meters all the way to 30 meters, which may be the practical limit on ease of getting it up in a tree, but if you've got a throw line or some other way to get a line up, that will work just fine. From there, you'll drop down and try to get your feed point approximately 4 to 5 feet off the ground, very similar to what the PVC mounted Pota Performer accomplishes. Here I'm using just a simple BNC to binding post. Some people call this a banana jack or adapter. Different terms for that. But this is very inexpensive. You get this for a few bucks. From there, you are going to need some way to eliminate common mode currents. So you will need a choke of some type. You could use something like this from Palomar Engineers. Put that in line. Or if you have a coax which already has ferrites on it, that will work fine as well. This is what I use most of the time. So as we've got our radiating element going straight up, we are going to stretch out the radial at a sloping angle one direction, and to counteract that and to be able to get it tight enough, I'm using a cord. This is a Mason's line, high visibility, fairly good strength Mason's line to provide tension in the opposite direction away from the radial to hold it in place so your radiating element stays fairly close to vertical. One little tip here, when I tied my knots, I used heat shrink to pull it all tight so that it doesn't get frayed over time. From there, a simple tent peg will work to anchor this into the ground, or you can tie it off to a tree, a bush, or whatever else you've got available. You will notice I use ring terminals on the ends of my wires. This is because I would connect this to whatever I'm using, a line, a string, fishing line, throw line, whatever it is I'm connecting to raise this up. And at the other end, I'm using also ring terminals. One reason is just because I change them out fairly often, and putting them in like this will work, but probably not as durable. And then this will connect right in here to the stake, so that will hold that in place. Let's talk about the process I use for cutting my wires. So I developed this little jig. I just clamped it to the table. I've got a nail here, and I cut a little groove with the saw. You'll see what that's for in just a second. That will hold the tape a lot better than trying some other method. And what I will do is I'll put this on, pull it out to wherever the measurement I need to be at, and cut it. When I'm tuning this thing for a new band, I'm going roughly off the chart that is described in the Google Drive document from KJ6ER Greg out of California, who developed the Pota Performer. So the numbers I'm using are close to that. I use that for a starting point, but they are not exact. This is going to be a little bit different. I will show you my measurements here on what I have used. It's not center fed exactly. The radiator is a little bit longer, but don't take these and then leave a comment that the SWR is out of whack and this is no good. This is going to be different wire, different location, different ground. All of that stuff can make a difference. So this is just a starting point, but you should be able to get it dialed in. So from there, what I did, I attached this, raised it up in the tree. I cut my radiating wire longer than I was expecting to need it, and I put it in with this method without using the terminal. So that way I can test it. I could cut it off little by little to get where I need to be. And then once I'm satisfied with my SWR and how things are looking on my analyzer, I will take it to a different location. I'll test it. I'll use it 2 or 3 times. When I'm satisfied that it performs well in different circumstances, then I'll attach the ring connector and make it a little more permanent. So if you want to use this as dedicated for each band, for instance, I do have these labeled, but can't quite see it. So there's a 12 meters, 15, 20. The one I'm using example is 17. And then this one is 30, which I said is the longest one that I have used. That's getting up there fairly high for a limb. It's doable. 40 might be a little difficult, but still probably doable. And if you need to change bands, just unhook these, lower your rope down that's you're using to raise this up, switch it out for different wires to different bands, and I'll see how the footage looks. I may give you a little example of that, but I can change that out in about 3 minutes. So this entire package, with the wire, with the BNC adapter, with the tent peg, with the tether cord that I'm using, and with the fiberglass stake, all that together weighs less than 1 pound, at least on the 20 meter band. And that's a drastic reduction in weight and also in the amount of bulk. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I had it in my pocket. So if you're traveling light, if you're hiking in, if you're doing a summit, something where you want to get the performance from this without all the bulk, this could be a very good deal for you. Like I said, I'll leave a link to the KJ6ER documents. You can take a look at his plans, and he has a very good presentation talking more about the antenna theory behind this type of antenna. It does work very well. Very happy with it. I am pleased of using the wire version. The amount of time it takes me to change bands pretty quick. I can do it in about 3 minutes, and it does perform very well. Again, it's much lighter, less bulky, and an argument can be made that a single wire is going to conduct better than a piece of stainless steel tubing with several sections. So I've been very pleased with this. There are a few other videos with similar antennas. Most of them are talking about how good it works in DX, which it does. And I've worked several overseas stations with this during my POTA activations. Well, there you have it. If you have any further questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'll be glad to answer them the best I can. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and look forward to doing more videos. And you have watched yet another ham radio video. This is Jay, KQ4DUX, saying 7-3, hope to see you on the air soon.